All right, enough Supercopa. How about some quick hits instead?
Let's go, Gab.
Manchester United are out, OUT out of the FA Cup after falling at home to Brighton's B team, 2-1. Jules, any positives other than Shea Lacey, at least until his second yellow?
Yeah, because I thought Sesko scoring again is good for him. I know he missed a couple of chances, which he
Bit of
always
help
does.
from the goalkeeper.
True, but still, I think there was some passage of plays that were interesting. I think, again, Bruno as a 10 makes such a difference in what you're going to do instead of Bruno deeper in the weird system that Amorim had before. However, Brighton could have scored 5 goals easily in this game. And I know United could have probably have scored another one too. But you're still so open. Manuel Ugarte cannot play in this team. It's not possible. Kobe Mainu, I thought, in this first half hour before running out of gas, it's normal the guy played 30 seconds in the last 6 months. But, created stuff. He's still so good on the ball. If you can get him into this team, it would be interesting.
You say Brighton, but is it still Brighton when there's no Donk, no Weafer, no Van Hecke?
So defensively, but
no,
you said B team, certainly defensively.
No Baleba, no Kaoru Mitoma, no.
No, true.
I mean,
true. You would say there was only like 3 or 4 starters to the usual team. No, you're right. Absolutely. And you can't be Burnley, you can't be Brighton at home. This is
to be fair to him, it's 2 games, you're caretaker.
Sure.
And the other thing, to be fair, if you play 4-2-3-1, which makes more sense in some ways, Mount and Matthias Cunha are very good players, but they're essentially number 10s.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
the problem.
That's completely.
You put them on the wing, they're not going to go past anyone.
And for Shea Lacey, very talented young 18-year-old, but because you could see on his lip after the second yellow, he was like, "What for? What do you mean, what for? You know what you got sent off? Yeah. The first tackle is a yellow. The second one, you throw the ball, it's a yellow for everybody. Why an exception for you? Don't say to me, what for? Why am I sent off for?"
I think I'll say this about him, He put a post out there. He says,
he apologized.
And I think once he calmed down,
he was going to cry on the pitch, you could say.
Well, look, I don't know if he's ever been sent off before, but he's played football for a long time. He knows at any level, even U14, if you do that, you're going to get a second yellow. A bit more disappointing, Darren Ferguson. Well, common sense. No. We want consistency. That's it.
Gab, some good news, though, for United. According to reports, Michael Carrick's appointment on an interim basis until the summer is now imminent.
It's good news because it's Michael Carrick and not Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
Absolutely. I'm all for it, too.
Yeah, look, he's obviously a popular guy. I think the key here is you have to be disciplined. You say, Carrick, you are my coach until June. I don't care how much, whether it's Gary Neville or Scholes or any other former United player in the commentariat comes out and says, "Oh, give him the job now because you win 6 or 7 games in a row." That's happened with Solskjaer.
Yeah.
You shut them up.
Yeah.
You say, Michael Carrick, maybe one day you'll be back, but you're a guy who, you've managed at Middlesbrough. You did great in your first season.
Yeah.
And you finished 8th. And then you were 10th and you got sacked. Maybe you're not right for us right now. This is the plan. This has to be the plan. And take your time and choose the right permanent manager.
Yeah,
do not let them sway you. None of this. Yeah. Give him the job. No. We don't do this anymore.
Yeah.
Holders Crystal Palace are out of the FA Cup, upset 2-1 by Macclesfield. Jules, statistically, it's the biggest upset in the history of the competition.
That's right. Macclesfield in the 6th division of English football, so they're not professional players. They all have another job. Beating Crystal Palace, the holders, one embarrassment. Really, Oliver Glasner said it himself, but it's a disgraceful performance from a team like Crystal Palace to go and lose like that. Amazing day, fairy tale for Macclesfield, who not that long ago were about to disappear. To be fair,
they did disappear. This is a Phoenix club. This is a new owner.
Yeah, completely.
Came in, put a new. They got the registration essentially. This is not Macclesfield Town.
Yes,
for the
it is very true.
Football pyramid nerds out there.
Yeah, absolutely. But a great day, their greatest day in history, obviously, and the worst day ever. The nightmare for Crystal Palace. Liam Rosinho rose to a 5-1 away win at Charlton on his debut. Gab, what did you make of it?
I made of it that I think it was pretty much the team that Maresca would have put out, the players
it's exactly
would have put out.
Then against Cardiff.
There you go. So that's why you get a big dose of Marguiu and Facundo Buonanotte and people like that. I don't think he said, "I'm going to be my own man." Of course he's going to say that.
Yeah.
At the same time, in the real world, Chelsea, assuming they stick to their system and their business model, they're going to want to do things a certain way, which is the way Maresca did them for a long time, by the way. And he accepts it. He's worked in the system. Let's see if we can do a better job of working within these restrictions. The system, which, by the way, it's not a system that's a structure. It's not designed to ruin Chelsea. It's designed to help Chelsea. Right? Let's not forget this.
Yeah.
But let's see if he can make it work. All right, Jules, we're not done. We have more quick hits.
Yes.
More woe for the man with 2 first names.
Aye.
Tottenham Hotspur fall at home to Aston Villa 2-1. Jules, the only domestic clubs they've beaten at home this season are Burnley, who are in the relegation zone.
First game of the season.
Brentford, which is his old club.
Yeah.
And Doncaster Rovers, who I believe are in the relegation zone in League One.
That's right.
Time to move on?
It will get more time before moving him on. The first half was horrendous, and it's not the first time where he clearly, in my eyes, struggles to get this team going and get the crowd going. The second half was a bit better. Certainly the Odeberg goal, I think, is a really nice goal. Matisse Tel was good, I thought, on the back of the goal he scored in midweek. And then Thomas Frank makes those substitutions that make no sense, that almost kill the momentum of his own team. And as a coach, aren't you supposed to just read the game and know exactly what to do? Not to do that. It was so counterproductive. I just didn't understand it. It's a defeat. It's another defeat. They're out of another competition. It's not good enough what he's been doing. A bit what we said about Xabi Alonso. He's been here since July 1st. And yet, he doesn't know his strongest 11. He doesn't know what he's doing. I think time is ticking.
The other worrying thing for him, his perspective, is, of course, the people who appointed him, Daniel Levy and Fabio Paratici. One no longer has power, and the other one's on his way.
Yeah. Gabriel Martinelli scores a hat-trick as Arsenal get past Portsmouth 4-1 away. Gab is making his playing opportunities count.
Yeah, and so he should. I mean, I think there's a very real situation with him in the sense that he's only started 6 Premier League games this season. He has so much competition for his position between Leandro Trossard, Noni Madueke, Eberechi Eze can obviously play there too. And out of all those 4 players, I mean, 2 of them just arrived. Trossard is older, shorter term contract. He has a deal through 2027, I believe. I think the club have a 1-year option. He is an asset that can be monetized. To put it in a cruel way, Arsenal need to get some money back at some point, and he's 24 years old. I think he will have a market. So I was happy for him.
Yeah.
It's not his fault. He's different from the other guys. It's not his fault, but he is probably the most expendable out of those 4. Jules, Manchester City destroy Exeter City 10-1 as Antoine Semenyo makes his debut. And Erling Haaland fails to score in 45 minutes on the pitch.
Yeah, it's
a crisis for Haaland.
Well, 4 games in a row where he only scored on penalty in midweek. In a game like this, you would have expected him to score. He didn't. Semenyo did and had an assist as well. I think the first player since Sergio Aguero to score and assist on his City
against
City
Exeter City.
Yeah,
It's also.
Absolutely.
I don't know who Aguero did it against, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't Exeter City.
It was not Exeter, I'm sure as well. But still good debut for him. We saw Rodri starting and scoring a really, really nice goal. McAdoo. So all the kids and the youngsters. Max Allain scored too, the first goal. I'm glad for Exeter that they won. They scored, because at least they got something. Otherwise, a 10-0 defeat is painful. Liverpool confirmed that Conor Bradley's injury means he will miss the rest of the season. Gab, surely now they'll have to make some moves in the transfer window.
They needed to do it before to get a third center back. Now I guess they need to find somebody who can play right back too. If they think that they can go through the rest of the season with some combination of Jeremy Frimpong, who's really a wing back, if not a winger, Dominic Soboslai, who's an attacking midfielder, and Joe Gomez, who is a center back and is also your backup center back, your only backup center back. I think all of a sudden, actually, I would argue this becomes the priority, finding a utility defender, even more so, because you could argue that if Salah goes, and that's still up in the air, you need another forward as well. Ekitike is injured, but he's going to be back, but still.
Yeah.
I think Arne needed this like he needed a hole in the head. Arsenal have hired our old pal Thomas Gronemark in a consultant role, reportedly. Jules, he was once Liverpool's throw-in coach, and this is when he came onto people's radar. Throw-in coaches were not common at the time. Let's face it, they're still not common today. I think he's cornered the market. I think
Yeah.
he's the only one, as far as I know. Arteta doubling down on set pieces.
Yeah, Nicolas Jover will do the balls. I don't know how you differentiate, if there's a word to differentiate the set pieces that are throw-ins and the set pieces that are corners or wide free kicks. I think Gronemark has been consulting with quite a lot of Premier League teams, to be fair, since the Liverpool days. Liverpool were the first club, but then after that, he worked with a lot of teams. He might still do now. I don't know. It's all about marginal gains for Mikel Arteta. If you can get a little advantage on your opponent, thanks to Gronemark's expertise in throw-ins, it's more in terms of like ball retention than really scoring every time you've got a throw. It's just not to lose the ball when you play the throw. I think Arteta will take that. Let's see. Maybe we against Chelsea in midweek or next weekend against Forest, we'll see like an amazing combination on the throw, and we say, okay, here it is.
Yeah, you're right. It is about. I think it's more about like coming out of it with efficient possession. My old pal Ted Knutson, who has also done
a lot of work like this. Yeah.
You make the point. Yes, there is the side. There's the exciting side. You got Michael Coyote just chucking the ball accurately and flat into the box, and it's like a corner kick. Yeah, that's one side of it. But also, when you think about it, you have a situation where everybody stopped, so you can actually have a play of movement, people running like running a play in other sports.
Yeah, exactly.
Two touches, you free somebody up in space. I think that is the value add that he can bring. Yeah. My question would be, though, how much training time does Arteta have to give up to Gronemark?
Yeah, that's true.
I think that's always a struggle because, they only train so many times and you have a lot to cover in your training sessions.
Yeah. Michael Keane's 3-game ban for pulling Tolu's hair has been confirmed, Gab. And yet, David Moyes is still furious. Can you understand why?
No, I don't. And I say this as somebody who I really love David Moyes. I've had the privilege of knowing him for a very, very long time. We just don't see this. I don't watch the video. You have a large man with a long ponytail, and you have a player pulling his hair, consciously pulling his hair. You can see his arm grabbing the hair, pulling the hair down. You cannot have this in football. This is not a coming together. This is not being touched. I'm not suggesting Michael Keane is a dirty player or he's a bad guy. Maybe he's like to get away with whatever.
Yeah.
But to go and to continue complaining about this just makes no sense. It's impossible to accidentally pull somebody's hair. It's just not possible.
It's not.
Veteran France international Estelle Cascarino was all set to make her debut for West Ham, who are facing Chelsea in the Women's Super League.
Yeah.
But she was not allowed to come on.
She was not, Gab. She was ready. She had warmed up. She was there with the fourth referee about to get on for a new team because she was loaned by Juventus to West Ham only a few days ago. When the fourth referee spotted the earring that she had in her ear, and as you often, if you watch games and pay attention to subs, whether it's men and women, you often see the fourth referee checking the hands because you can't play with rings, the studs, but also the neck, so you can't play with necklaces and stuff like that. But clearly, this was a problem with the earring. You can cover it usually, but clearly in some leagues, because she was allowed to play with it. I think in Italy, but also I think in France, if I remembered well, but clearly not in England. So
also
I didn't know there was.
Yeah,
I didn't know it was different rules.
It's not just like an earring that you pop out. It's like an earring that's like, it's almost like some of it is inside her ear.
It's like
and essentially it's not meant to be removed.
Yeah.
She needs to go and see like a specialist to remove it. So I don't know what would have made a difference. They were 2-0 down at the time, ended up losing 5-0.
Yes. When it rains, it pours, Gab. Bruno Fernandes' account on X was hacked this weekend.
Yes, and somebody thought they were very funny and made fun of Ineos, made a whole bunch of silly posts. Manchester United's official account has to say, Bruno's account has been hacked. Please don't engage with it, blah, blah, blah. I guess it's always a risk. I don't quite understand with like two-factor authentication. Is it really that easy to hack an account? I don't know.
No, me neither, yeah.
I hope nobody hacks me. Anyway, Jules, this brings us to an end. But it is a really, really big midweek. Of course, the Africa Cup of Nations semifinals, the League Cup semifinals, Chelsea and Arsenal. Plenty of other stuff going on. So join us Thursday. In fact, You'll be away. You're on assignment Thursday. You're going to go see Flo.
Flo Balogun, interview coming up very shortly on ESPN.
USMNT center forward. So until then, love the game, love your neighbor, love yourself.